Welcome to day 2 of the Empty Vessel Protocol. If you did the work yesterday, then you've already started the process of unlearning, beginning to break the ego's grips on your identity. Remember, we're on the journey to practicing the esoteric principle of the rich young ruler, selling everything that you believe and you think you know so that you can know for real. Today, we hammer away at another matrix illusion, the illusion of the timeline. Society has built an invisible arbitrary clock, and they've convinced you that your worth is tied to its ticking. Graduate by 22, have your career locked in by 25, be married, stable, and have your entire financial empire figured out by the time you hit 30. Understand what this is. It is a construct designed strictly to harvest your energy through anxiety. When you operate under the belief that you're running out of time, you stop observing and you start panicking. You start making decisions out of desperation. You start connecting and being in relationships because you think that there's a necessity for it rather than a desire to be there. You take your divine energy, you take your supernatural existence, and you reduce it down, you minimize it to hitting the goal that some imaginary man or woman invented that you have submitted to again. Because this ain't the first time. But I think we all should take into account that when unhappy people set marks and precedents, it is probably for our benefit to not reach them. Because typically the people who set the mark have hit the mark, and we realize on the backside of them hitting that mark, they're still not satisfied. They're still not fulfilled. They're still not happy. They're still not secure in themselves. So why would I chase after the mark that you set that didn't satisfy and fulfill you? Time, as the matrix tracks it, is an illusion. The universe, the all-knowing creator within you, does not operate on deadlines. It operates on seasons. Nature is never in a rush, yet everything gets accomplished. You ever notice that? The moment that you feel like a failure because you haven't hit a societal deadline, you've already forgotten your supernatural existence. You've forgotten your power. You've forgotten who you are. You've forgotten your identity. You've forgotten your true nature. You've stepped out of the eternal now and into the new psychological prison. And at some point, I think that the goal should not be to get transferred from one prison to the other prison. It should absolutely be to be set free, to be released, to be an ex-convict. You've been perfectly satisfied just getting transfers, just switching prison yards, just getting a new cellmate. At what point do we actually pursue the freedom on the other side of incarceration? At what point do you get tired of being locked away? At what point do you outgrow the prison cell altogether? At what point do you walk out of the open door, the door that you voluntarily entered into? Because that's the thing about psychological prisons. Nobody sentenced you to a psychological prison but yourself. I digress. So listen. The truth is, some of your greatest work, some of your deepest understanding, some of your biggest acquisitions, materialistically, psychologically, emotionally, and in terms of knowledge, are on the other side of these invisible deadlines. The first chapters of your life are for gathering data. You are experiencing the contrast. You're learning what does not work, so that when you decide within yourself to pair with your true purpose, your foundation is unshakable. Understand that you are not behind. You're just finally growing into the awareness that the timeline was a lie. The all-seeing eye does not age. It doesn't expire. It just observes. It just learns. It just builds. Understand, I don't ask y'all to do nothing that I'm not doing. So on our paper today, what do we have? If I don't have it all figured out by a certain age, I'm a failure. That's the lie that we have to disassemble. That's the lie that we have to detach from. They're controlling you without touching you because they handed you these broken paradigms to carry and pass down to your children. The generational curse is literally you partnering with the lies that were peddled to you from the generation before. So for me, I realize the calendar is man-made. I operate on divine rhythm. You have to be as ignorant on the day that you label yourself a failure as you were when you set the marker. So you ain't learned nothing. Life is a journey. It's an expedition. It's a discovery. We've turned it into a competition. Whether it be a competition against those around us or a competition with the idea that we have of ourselves. Either way, you do not have a better goal or a better aim than your creator did. You do not have a better idea of what you should be and when you should be it than your designer, than your manufacturer. Understand, you're trying to get a house and a car and a family with a wife or a husband that won't misuse you and abuse you. You're trying to have a picket fence. You're trying to have 2 dogs and 4 kids, and you're not even happy. What is it that a kid or a pet benefits for being under your leadership? You have yet to lead yourself out of the illusion. You have yet to lead yourself out of the illusionary realm of your own sadness and unfulfillment. And you want to lead somebody's son or daughter. The only way to fail in life is to continue to set marks and continue to set goals and think that you doing something will ever compensate for you not being what you were designed to be. You can have 100 cars. You can have 100 houses all over the nation. But if you are not being the loving individual that you are designed to be, them houses won't even benefit you, let alone benefit anybody else. They won't even benefit you. The things that you are chasing will not provide for you the feeling that you crave. And when you get the thing that you've been chasing and it doesn't provide the feeling which you crave, you're going to crumble. And you're going to do the same thing you do every time you crumble. You're going to wallow in it for a little while. And then with the same logic and the same brain that you crumbled yourself with, you're going to weave a new plan, set a new mark, and run it all over again. I never forget the day my grandmother looked me in my eyes and asked me, "Son, Jonathan, how old are you? I give you 3 years to get your life together." Even though I was fighting the Department of Revenue, even though they was taking my revenue, even though I had nothing to my name, even though I didn't even have a license at the time because I was still fighting to get my license back, I had grown to a place where I was able to be happy. And I saw so many people while I was walking my little happy ass down the road, driving in cars, having arguments on phones, unfulfilled, dissatisfied with life. And they had all the things that my grandmama felt like I should have had already. Even when I had those things before I lost those things to the Department of Revenue in that season of my life, I didn't have the happiness that I found without it. And it wasn't, don't get me wrong, it was not having the things that brought me happiness. But with the things out of the way, I was able to pursue something bigger, something greater. I learned of an essence within me that was always with me and that would never leave me, no matter how ugly the situation got. Hey, lock in. It's day 2.